Hello and welcome to the Auto Futures podcast, a very special episode, live from Move. I'm here as usual with Ben Boucher West and Chris Kirby. And how are you guys today? I think we'll have to pass the microphone around, so over to you.
Yeah, really good. Really exciting day one at Move. Lots of interest we're going to talk about in a little bit, but yeah, really good. Really good to be back with you guys as well. Yeah, it's great. And we're missing a musketeer, obviously. Luke's now down under, but I'm sure he'll be watching at home and commiserating, hey ho.
And that's Australia, not underground, down under. Just to be clear. But yeah, just echoing what you're saying. Really good first day at Move yesterday. Lots of really good conversations. I said to you guys earlier on, but it was kind of described to me as everyone from mobility just put in a melting pot and left to make things happen. But actually, that's not a bad thing from a conference point of view. It's not too structured, plenty of chat, and just lots of the right people all in the same room doing some stuff, I guess. But yeah, Alex, how's things been from the Auto Futures side?
It's funny passing the microphone around. Yeah, it's been great. We're here for the second time, as both of you guys are, for Appy Way and Tomorrow's Journey. It's been great. I think it's 3 times the size. I can't remember the attendees, all the numbers out of my head. But it's been great. It's notably bigger, but also you're bumping into old faces and new faces. I know you guys are sort of rekindling your relationships with previous attendees, which has been great. We've got our neighbours. We've got Urban Sharing, Spare, Split, Paris & Co. I know that Fleetonomy are there. We have Tomorrow's Journey over in the startup section. Also Appy Way, almost our neighbours, just down the road. Also, as you can hear, it's all kicking off. We tried to get in before it started. But yeah, this is what it's going to be, 9 till 5 or 6 o'clock. I know that you guys are on later, so maybe a little bit on what you guys are doing. I think you're earlier and you're later in the afternoon. So Ben.
That's right, thanks Al. So we are hosting a panel. Dan, our founder, is here today, which is really exciting. He's talking around sort of curbside and our sort of fairly standard pitch, but actually we've got some new materials. We'll be talking about some new partnerships that we're making and really trying to raise the profile of curbside in some new conversations. So yesterday we heard from Google's Coord, we heard from Arrive, former Parkwiz, and they're all very much engaging from the US market point of view around curbside and how important it is to sort of get it right. It's really reassuring for us to see that nobody's got the full solution, the full answers, and really we are now, curbside's what we do, but we're trying to get that into sort of ticketing, in some of the mass offerings, engaging here with a lot of the operators, talking about how we can help OPEX for fleet. So we've brought our full sales team out here and they're sort of just drumming up business leads around that sort of OPEX saving, the opportunity of reducing parking tickets. So it's a really good event for us at sort of all levels. And then I'm chairing one of the mass panels, hoping to meet a lot of partners through there, and that'd be really interesting to see some of those new pitches as well, and hopefully create some new leads here as well. So yeah.
Yeah, great. Yeah, as you said, I'm on this afternoon. I'm not sure if I've got the graveyard slot at 3:40 or something on the second day. So be you guys at the front. As long as you can stand like close enough, so when Nick takes a picture for social, just get your heads in the background. It looks like it's busy, but yeah, kind of different approach for us. I'm talking about kind of a bit how mobility's broken and how kind of for some of the focus I believe is in the wrong area. I'm going to talk about actually how fleet management and how fleet operators actually are going to underpin a lot of mobility, and actually how I think you mentioned earlier about having the answers. At the minute nobody's got the answers for mobility. Again, another interesting thing someone said to me the other day, a VC looking into this market, not a specialist, said, well, I've been looking into this for a couple of weeks. What's really clear is we know the questions that mobility are being posed, or the mobility space is being posed. It's really clear now that there is no set answer to any of those yet. Yeah, lots of people are trying to say this, solve the same problem in slightly different ways, and we don't know which one's going to win. And I thought actually that was quite a nice way of looking at, like an external person looking at it. So I'm going to talk about a bit about that and a bit about how actually the thing that is consistent within all of that is fleet asset management. Until we invent teleportation, we're going to need assets to move people and things, right? And it doesn't matter if they're going to fly, if they're electric scooters, or just normal bikes or normal vans with drivers in. They're physical assets. So I'm going to talk a bit about that, which hopefully will be interesting. And I'm going to say a few interesting thoughts that, if anyone's there, might disagree with me. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll be baiting you.
Yeah. Please do.
Yeah.
So obviously we're joined by the 2 most prolific companies under the roof of the Excel, but I think it's fair to say that there's a lot of interesting companies, a lot of interesting ideas, softwares, innovations coming not just from London or even the UK, from around the world. I mean, the interviews we had yesterday, the majority of them went from this country, which is great to see because it's on a global base, and what the UK means for them as well. But it'd be interesting for me to find out some of maybe the highlights so far. I know it's only been one day, we're halfway through. So apart from Tomorrow's Journey and apart from Appiway and your best friends at other companies, who's surprised you, or who's been some of the key companies or ideas over the last 24 hours for you guys?
Yeah, without saying too much about sort of specific projects, obviously, I think what's always really good with Move is you've got a great mix here. Yesterday we've got some local authorities, some of the combined authorities walking through. You've got a whole wealth of large corporates who, to Chris's point, are considering their future strategy, both deploying cash through investment, but also technical partnerships. There's a much bigger startup and SME scene. I think there's 100 well represented, all offering elements of technology. Some of them are much more ambitious than that, and these are all, it's really useful for us to keep checking in with and forming partnerships where we can. So I think for me, I've been really pleased with the conversation at all levels. There's a lot of noise still, I would say. I'm not quite sure on a strategy. I think I need to talk to you because your stand's busy, that kind of thing. But equally, I've been really impressed. I think this year with people coming on stand, this is what we're trying to achieve. This is why I've come to talk to you. Does this make sense? And we've had some very detailed discussions quite quickly. As I mentioned, sort of all levels, some region, some international outreach, how we can help other challenges as well. So it says to me that our messaging is starting to work to get out there, but also people maybe they've had a lot of noise for a couple of years and they're now being very specific about what they're actually hoping to achieve. And there are definitely two different camps, sort of generalists, unsure, building strategy, and those now who are deploying projects, operating services, investing heavily in a particular sector, which is really exciting for us, really exciting time.
Yeah, I think that definitely echoing those points. I think for me, something we've already touched on, I think one of the things that's clear from being here is, again, there is no silver bullet, there's no golden kind of ticket to mobility. There's lots of people doing lots of interesting things, new people that we're seeing for the first time doing versions of a thing that we've seen before, maybe trying to tackle a challenge that we know in a different way. But I think it almost in a way feels good to see that there's not someone out there who's cracked this thing. We're all chasing the wrong goal. I think it's interesting talking again. You're saying about such a good mix of people from like the kind of OEM car manufacturer, BP, people like that, through to the startups. You had a good couple of OEM conversations with our kind of customers and customer pool yesterday, and there's some interesting things happening in that space. I thought Toyota were interesting, and again, this is public knowledge, but they bought a kind of medium-sized lease company back in January, and which is being rebranded under Kinto, which is their mobility brand, and I was hearing a bit about that yesterday, which kind of I felt actually if I was an OEM and doing this and going, what's my mobility strategy, that's probably where I would start. So I think that was quite interesting, just kind of hearing from the horse's mouth how that was coming out. So yeah, I think it's going to be a case of trying to get to a few more of the talks today and hear a few more things from a few more people, I think. But yeah, super exciting.
Fantastic. Go on, Ben, one more.
Well, I was just going to pick up on that. It's an interesting thing. The guys from Canoe yesterday, really interesting. There's a few Tesla colleagues walking through. That whole OEM piece is really interesting. I think more than ever, it's open season. I wasn't aware on some of the cash pots backing some of those. Some of them I thought were, OEM hobby projects, investable, but not scaling. I think we're about to see those products come to market, break cover, the big unveilings of the new products. It's much clearer how they're going to be not sold but served to consumers, and that was really exciting as well. And again, it's all about cabin, consumer, ease of use, integrated billing, fleet, the sort of micro-entrepreneur. How does that vehicle afford all of that new sort of economy around the car? And I think still for me, I back startups and the new disruptors in that whole space.
Perfect. And I think more importantly, we'll be having a race on the scooters and bikes later on. So if you see or see three children messing around screaming, it will probably be us. Yes. So to decide the winner of the true winner of the mobility event, that Chris thought he won, Ben thought he won. Me and Luke certainly didn't win, but time for retribution. So the comeback is on. But that's all we have time for. As you can tell, the music has stopped. somebody's talking. We've kicked off, probably move conference directors. So that means I'll soon see the Appy Way flare go up in the air, and we're ready to go. The t-shirts, so you can't miss the yellow t-shirts anyway. Tomorrow's Journey, I think, a little bit more subtle. So anyway, yeah. But thanks a lot, guys, for watching and listening. And come and say hi to the Auto Futures team, to Tomorrow's Journey, to Appy Way, and have a great day, guys.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.